Sitting here now, we probably all fondly remember that one teacher or that one mentor who made us feel like we were enough. There's no denying the impact a mentor can have on one's life. But what if I told you that for some, these relationships are few and far between? These days, schools are understaffed and filled with implicit biases that disproportionately affect students with special needs. This lack of teachers leads to a lack of individualized education for those who need it the most. According to PBS, at the beginning of this school year, 70% of American schools reported having openings in their special education department. This meant that the teachers that were there were overwhelmed and burnt out and unable to do their jobs with the abilities and resources they had in front of them. Also, implicit biases circulate through all levels of our education system. According to the Frontier Psychology Journal, humans naturally start making in-groups and out-groups as early as 6 to 11 years old. This means that we begin to associate positively with people who are exactly like us and deem all others as inferior. I know I'm guilty of this at times, and I'm sure many of you are too, but that disregards the fact that we're all humans and all have very similar values. For example, standing here on a college campus, it's safe to say we all value education and the ability to better ourselves and prepare for the future. And that's no different for students with special needs. Now I know, it's easy to say, well, it's not my problem, or what could I possibly do about it? However, you should support your local nonprofit for individuals with special needs by volunteering. Volunteering is positive for all of those involved, especially the kids with special needs. According to research from the University of Kansas, there's no harm in inclusion. The real harm comes from segregation. In fact, inclusion helps individuals with special needs better their communication skills, writing skills, and social skills, simply by being allowed to be a part of their communities. Volunteering is also very positive for nonprofit organizations, such as Best Buddies International, which relies on 11,000 volunteers across 46 countries and all 50 states to keep its doors open. These volunteers are responsible for forming friendships, leadership opportunities, job placements, and independent housing efforts. You're in luck, actually. Cal Poly has a Best Buddies organization that focuses on forming friendships with special needs individuals in the SLO community and the Central Coast area. Now I know, we're all college students, we're all busy, and we like to prioritize things that benefit us. But I'm here to tell you that there's nothing more positive for your own mental health and soul than volunteering and serving others. In high school, I was the assistant unified basketball coach at my school and often ended up playing in many of the basketball games. I remember so fondly cheering when one of my teammates would score a basket or being absolutely heckled for my inability to score a half-court shot. These were some of my favorite memories from high school, and just as much as I was a mentor to these kids, they were also mentors to me. Now that we've gone over the problem, a possible solution, why it matters to us, and where we can get involved, let's imagine that you join me at the next Cal Poly Best Buddies event, where they're volunteering at the Central Coast Autism Spectrum Center's Winter Dance. We show up to the event center together and immediately get roped into dancing, singing, and doing crafts. You especially hit it off with this one little boy who loves Star Wars, and by the end of the night, he's writing you a thank you card and giving you a big hug for being his friend. Or we can imagine that you don't come with me and I go to the event by myself. I sit down with this one little girl and have a great time making friendship bracelets, but I can't help but feel guilty for the little boy in the corner who looks like he just wants to bolt out the door every time it opens. I cannot be in two places at once. Or we could imagine that neither of us listened to the entire premise of my speech and we stay home doom scrolling on our phones, not involving ourselves in the SLO community whatsoever. Meanwhile, 20+ individuals show up at the event center and cling to their parents, mortified by the social stimulation in front of them. Meanwhile, all of the employees run around trying to appease everyone, but it's really chaos and they're stressed. I think there's really only one positive solution here of how to spend our Friday night. Just out of curiosity, who now is excited about volunteering with individuals with special needs? If you're so inclined to express your civic duty to volunteer, I implore you to try to attend at least one Cal Poly Best Buddies event by the end of the school year. And if you really want to stay up to date with all of the action in the nonprofit community in SLO, here's the QR code to join the Best Buddies emailing list.